So while you were in Miami-Dade, were there any initiatives that you pushed to incorporate technology to help officers?
There was. We knew that sooner or later there would be a mandate to record interviews. So the idea was, let's get out in front of whatever this mandate was, and let's record our interviews in the homicide interview rooms. And also bear in mind, this is middle 1990s. Met with a lot of resistance, as you can imagine, only because it's something different, something new. It's just this uncomfortable implement that's there. And once we had implementation, that resistance melted away very, very quickly.
So you mentioned that resistance. Do you think there was less resistance here, if there was any, because there's this general expectation that body cameras and tasers are just going to come inevitably?
I think that's the perfect word for it. I think it's the inevitable concept that everyone knew they would be coming, and we've been discussing this for a long time, and so it's something new for me to have, something new for me to have to access and be aware of. You know, legislation was lagging behind a little bit, and what am I going to do when I'm in a residence hall or when I'm in someone's room off campus? What are my responsibilities and what are my requirements? Anything new is different and hard for any of us, really. And that went away pretty quickly. We've had some very good feedback on it. People are comfortable operating the camera, and it's become kind of a very easy, natural progression.
Mm-hmm. So did Miami-Dade implement tasers and body cameras as well?
So it was done incrementally with cameras. Now, however, with tasers, we're going back to really the early 2000s. And it was interesting and helpful for me in being involved in the implementation here to look back at that history. Because you had pre-implementation studies, you had an implementation study, you had a post-implementation study, and all that was really illuminating. And here's the two really important components about the post-implementation study that I found. The first was we had this expectation based upon other agencies that injuries to officers and injuries to subjects would go down dramatically. What we found is it was pretty much close to the national average everywhere. About 64% on both sides, 64% less injuries to the officers involved, 64% less injuries to the subjects involved. And the other piece about that, maybe most compelling, is the implementation study after the first year of having tasers in play. And what we're able to determine is there were 41 instances where a taser was used to resolve a confrontation where deadly force would have been allowable. So potentially there's 41 lives that were, I don't know if you can say saved, that might be too strong, but there were 41 instances where a taser was used, as I said, to resolve a situation that could have gone a totally different way.
Have there been any recent instances where a taser or a body camera really helped out Pitt police officers?
I think the body cameras seem to have a way of diffusing all situations, as you can imagine. If someone walked up to me on the street and we were having a conversation on the street that suddenly turned contentious for whatever reason, and someone said to me, and I'm thinking of this as a private citizen, hey, I'm recording our conversation right now. There's something about that I think drives home to the core of everyone. Oh, I'm more responsible, I'm being recorded.
Do you have any last comments about this?
I think the big emotional and mental hurdle that everyone has to get over is they've got to answer this question for themselves. Am I the kind of person who's comfortable in being in uniform and having my interactions recorded with people on a consistent and constant basis? And I think most people come to that answer very quickly. Yeah, I love what I do. I'm proud of what I do. I'm not ashamed of what I do and how I conduct it. And if that's going to be videotaped, it's going to be videotaped. That's fine. I'm concerned about the person who is reluctant to engage in that process. Those people who are concerned by that would concern me not only as a police executive, but as a parent, as a husband, as a citizen, whatever. And those who aren't concerned about that, or are willing to say, all right, I'm going to invite this extra scrutiny into my life, those are the people that you're looking for. Those are the people that you build a law enforcement agency around.